So here we are, April of 2026, and I want to ask you a very, very relevant question. Were you a Lost fan?
Yeah.
You were a Lost fan. Okay, so Lost
Mhm.
came on. Now, my recollection is that Lost maybe came on like maybe Tuesdays or Wednesdays. So it felt to me like every Thursday morning. Every Thursday morning, it was like the water cooler thing. Like you would come and be like, oh my God, well, what is the smoke monster? And what's Mr.
Mm,
Echo? And who are the others? And
mm.
Jacob and 4, 8, 15, 16, 23, 40, all that kind of
Yeah, yeah,
stuff,
yeah.
right?
What are the numbers? What are the numbers?
This is what the president is. I'm telling you. I'm telling you. Like, what is the smoke monster? The smoke monster was last week when he's like, I'm going to obliterate Iran. And then everybody's sitting there like, oh my God, there's no plan. What's he going to do? Really, who are the others? Are they really powerful? Is it really Iran who has the power?
Mm,
It's like, and everybody every day is getting together and going, what's going on? And last week, the storyline ended with there's no plan. And this week, all of a sudden, it feels like the plan is really revealing itself. It's really, really revealing itself. The Strait of Hormuz is one of those things that everybody is amplified into this major choke point on Earth where if the Strait of Hormuz gets shut down pretty soon, Europeans are going to be killing each other over milk. It's an extinction level event, all this kind of stuff. And the reality is that Iran was bluffing and they got their bluff called. And in the end, what it looks like, if you look at these shipping lanes that have been coming, have you seen all these charts with these boats, of all these
yeah,
boats that
yeah,
are
yeah.
coming
Straight
into
lines going
America?
straight to the Gulf. Yeah, the Gulf of America. Everyone's going straight to Texas.
All of a sudden now, I never even really understood why they were calling it the Gulf of America. I thought the Gulf of America was stupid. I didn't think it was stupid, but I thought it was. I didn't
Uh,
quite understand.
Yeah, yeah, I get that. I mean, I'm like, everyone wanted to complain about it. I'm like, you know what? He's the president. Why not name it that? We weren't. Here's where we went wrong. We weren't. We were. It's not the Gulf of the United States. You notice he didn't name it the Gulf of the United States of America. He named it the Gulf of America, which makes a ton of sense. North America, Central America, South America. Now that I'm starting to see, this is why Trump is so enjoyable. You get to see the little parts of the story, like Lost. Oh, all of a sudden, the smoke monster. Well, the smoke monster never made sense. But the smoke monster makes sense now. He wasn't saying that's ours. It should be ours. He was saying it's the Western Hemispheres. Now that
Yeah,
he's
not
now,
it's not it's mine. It's mine. But it is. It's all of ours.
right. Yeah. Now that I'm
Yeah.
starting to see this shield of the Americas, his focus on the Western Hemisphere, now calling it the Gulf of America actually makes sense to me, like actual sense. But we
Yeah.
were talking about Iran. So Gulf of America is getting traffic for oil.
Yeah, but that's the thing is that all of a sudden it's the Gulf of America. So you're not like, all right, everybody, step right up to the Gulf of Mexico, get your oil here, get your liquid
Gulf
natural
of.
gas. Right. It doesn't make sense as Gulf of Mexico. That's why it's Gulf of America. Step right up to the Gulf of America. Get your liquid natural gas. Get your fresh Texas oil right here in the Gulf of America. And everybody's sitting there going, oh my God, Donald Trump's going to be making all this money and da 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 da. And look, here's the truth of the matter. Let's talk about this. Is Donald Trump making money? Yes, he's making money. I heard that Don Jr. has some executive club down in D.C. and his $500,000 buy-in and all that kind of stuff for sure. But here's the truth of the matter is to the victor goes the spoils. And
And
the
the
thing is
victor
that,
is.
but here's us. That's the point is that, yeah,
Right.
Donald Trump's going to do it. And everyone's like, oh my God, that no good son of a gun is going to make money. But like, well, let me ask you a question. Are you going to go refine
Consarn it.
oil? Are you going to go refine oil? No, you're not going to refine oil. Well, then you can shut the heck up, right? Just go get your gas like everybody else and be happy that it's not going to be $5 a gallon because we're going to be selling it to other people, you
Hmm.
know? And now here's another thing I thought about recently. I've never thought about this before, right? Semantics is so important, like the Gulf of America, the Department of War.
Hmm.
Here's another one that been thinking about recently: the strategic oil reserves. The strategic oil reserves. And now the strategic oil reserves lead you to believe that. Well, be careful. Once it's gone, it's gone. Everybody seems to have this sense of urgency for the strategic oil reserves. And we go, we can't dip into our strategic oil reserves. It's the reserves, and the reserves have an implied end to it. So what do? We go, we have to go to Saudi Arabia. We have to go to Iran. We have to go to the Middle East. We have to go to all these places where, I mean, does Saudi Arabia have more land than America? No. Then how is it that Saudi Arabia has never ending oil, but we can't touch any of our oil? Why is it this
Hmm.
small piece of land has this oil that can make Saudi Arabia so rich that these guys wipe their butt with golden toilet paper that's better than your Cottonelle, you know, and it's
Oh,
softer
it's
than
the
even
softest, man. It's the
it's the
softest
softest,
ever.
and it's
Softest
and it's
gold.
it's made of gold. It's made of gold, you know? So, and the guy that holds their toilet paper it drives a Maserati. That's how rich
Yeah,
he is, and he's just a toilet paper holder. That's how much
right.
oil money they have. But the implication is that America doesn't have this much. America is for sale. We are now, and that right, oh yeah, that's right, America's for sale. You see a Democrat, America's for sale.
Yeah, bad turn
American
of phrase.
oil, American oil is for sale, and there is first, as far as we know, I'm not Johnny oil guy, but we probably have unlimited in terms of versus Saudi Arabia. So why not all of a sudden ship all that out there, and all of a sudden we can wipe our butts with golden toilet paper?
Well, I'm glad you brought this up. So we have a lot of oil. We have a lot of oil that is just on our turf as well. But I've heard Trump saying we have Venezuelan oil too. Now, this is where I get a little confused. So I understand the strategy. This is why Venezuela was first before
Hmm.
we could do Iran. Now we
Uh-huh.
understand that part of the plan is revealed itself. So we control this oil over here. So if it's still Venezuelan oil, now I know I said in the previous podcast that's our oil because we set up the infrastructure, but it is Venezuela's oil. So maybe you can help me out in understanding is like, how do we have direct access to Venezuela oil like it's our oil? Are we splitting profits? Is there a deal
Commerce.
made?
Commerce. So the oil that Venezuela is has requires extra refining because I'm not, like I said, I'm not an oil guy, but it
So
requires a few
we
extra
refine it.
steps.
We refine it for Venezuela.
So we are no, we're buying it from Venezuela and refining it for America, or refining it. I mean, the thing is that Texas
Okay,
oil is not. Yeah, you see that.
but
So
we
that's what's
are
happening.
but we are buying
Yeah,
Venezuela. This is a
we're not just stealing it from them. They're
yeah, but
getting
that's what
enriched by it.
everyone thinks right now, and it's not Venezuela is not exactly hot news right now. So when Donald Trump says something like, "Oh, we got all this Venezuelan oil," you know, the lefties gonna be like, "Oh, we're stealing the oil and selling it. Look at his plan. He's a cut off Iran, cut off everybody. Let's steal the oil from Venezuela and sell it for ourselves because we're all greedy pieces of shit."
Right,
Right?
right, right,
But it's
right.
not
And
necessarily the case. So Venezuela is profiting from
oh,
this
for sure.
severely.
For
Okay.
sure, for sure. You know who's happy with the current situation in Venezuela? Venezuelans. Venezuelans. I have a Venezuelan buddy who was just texting me a couple days ago. American Airlines is starting to fly to Venezuela. Like all of a sudden, they're excited because commerce between America and Venezuela is starting
Mm-hmm.
to set up. That's one of the things that Trump said. Is that what Bush did? What Bush did, and he went into Iraq and he leveled everybody and got rid of everybody and brought all new people in and said, "Hey, everybody, you no longer here's a leadership structure. We strangers are putting in new leaders, and you got to listen to them." And they went, "Whoa, whoa." Here they're keeping the same basic leadership structure and saying, "We're friends, right?
Yeah.
Do we
Well, that
we have a
seems to.
discombobulator. We have a discombobulator. We're friends, right? Okay, good.
Mhm.
We're gonna buy your oil. You don't have to refine it. No, we're just gonna buy it." Yeah, I
Yeah.
mean that's
Well, it seems to be a theme. Like he doesn't. He's learned this the nation building or whatever you want to call it, democracy building. The theme seems to be that like we're not going in and taking over. We're not going in putting our people in. You know, like kind of like Zelensky. You know, we put him in place, right? Um, so that seems more legit. But you said that Venezuelans are happy. I actually have a report that they might not be. So I don't know what's going on the ground in Venezuela, but we have a friend who is from Venezuela, and her family still a lot of her family still lives in Venezuela. It's like they're not seeing shit. They're saying things are terrible there right now. So I don't want to contradict what the story is, but if that's boots on the ground that I'm hearing, then something's not going right over there. Now,
so.
maybe relief, maybe the changeover just happened. Like take like like Argentina. Argentina is now exploded. Like their economy is like they're making so much money, it's insane. There's like they're gonna have no poor people left there. Everybody loved it. So, but I'm
Mhm.
sure early on it probably
So
wasn't
that
great.
Malay with the chainsaw, Javier Malay with the chainsaw, yeah.
I love that guy. Yeah, I mean
Mhm,
he could use a new hairdo, but I like that guy. He's
mhm.
wonderful. Yes, but you get my point though. So maybe it's not so great yet, or I don't know.
So,
It still has to be better.
it's definitely better. It's definitely better. I've heard a few Venezuelans, one of which is a guy who works in the White House who, my uncle knows and puts on his show, Martin Rodil, and he was talking about how Venezuela is way better now than it was. And then I have a personal friend who has family
Fine.
down there who says it's doing well. But now here's the deal. I'm not saying that what you're getting isn't true, but what I'm saying is these things take time. You
Yeah,
know, you
that's
just
what I
had a
was thinking.
you just had a government toppled a couple months ago. You have to give it time for things to shift over, and you're still gonna. It's not like the bad guy's gone, and it's like all of a sudden the Wizard of Oz. Everyone's gonna come out like, "What?" You know what I mean? No, you're still
Yeah,
gonna have people in there like, I'm loyal to that guy. That guy was promising me something. These people took, So there's that
yeah,
kind of stuff you always have to deal with.
that was my thought on it. Just you got to be honest. You got to be honest.